Hey there, third grade. How's everybody doing today? And welcome back to another remote learning math lesson with Mr. Enzi. Let's get started as I shrink myself into the corner. Today, we are going to be doing grade 3, lesson 1.4, number lines and rounding. And throughout this video, you will complete Math Journal, page 6, and afterwards, on your own, you will complete HomeLink 1.4. So let's get started with an important vocabulary word. The word is estimate. And when we make an estimate or we estimate something, we're telling a good guess. So today we are going to estimate how many pieces there are in my latest Lego creation. This is Harry Potter's Snowy Owl, Hedwig. I just finished building Hedwig out of Lego. Notice that his wings go up and down thanks to gears that are on the inside of the creation. My question to you is to make an estimate. How many pieces do you think it took to build Lego Hedwig? Go ahead and make an estimate. How many pieces did it take to make Lego Hedwig? Well, after looking over everybody's guesses, we had some students who were really close. It took Mr. Enzi 628 Lego pieces to make Hedwig. Now, 628 pieces is the exact answer. But if we had wanted to make some good estimates, we can use a strategy called rounding. We can think about numbers that are close to the nearest tens place or close to the nearest hundreds place. So if I had wanted to round 628 to the closest hundreds place, well, 628 is between 600 and 700. And it's closer to 600. Now I could also round 628 to the closest tens place. 628 is between 620 and 630. It's closer to 630. So I took the exact number of pieces that made up Lego Hedwig, and I rounded that number to the tens place and to the hundreds place. Today, we are going to spend some time rounding numbers. When we are rounding, we are using numbers that are the closest multiples of 10 or 100. Well, let's see what that means. Is 32 closer to 30 or 40? Well, here I have a number line, and here you see my 30, and here is my 40. Because 32 is between some multiples of 10. It's between 30 and 40. Now, since my number is 32, I'm going to put a dot on the tick mark that represents 32. Well, 32 goes right here. Is 32 closer to 30, or is it closer to 40? Hopefully you said that 32 is closer to 30, because that would be the answer to rounding the number 32 to the closest tens place. Today we are going to be rounding numbers using an open number line. An open number line is a number line that you can name the tick marks and start anywhere you want. So I want to show you an example. Round 64 to the nearest 10. Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to think, which two tens does 64 fall between? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Where would 64 fall between? Well, 64 is greater than 60, but it's less than 70. So it falls between 60 and 70. And I needed to put down some multiples of 10, 60, and 70. Now, does anybody know what number comes in the middle of 60 and 70? Well, the number that comes right in the middle is 65. So now I know that 64 comes between 60 and 70. And I also know that 65 is the halfway number, the number in the middle. But where would 64 fall on my number line? We need to make a tick mark for 64. Well, I know 64 is going to be close to 65. 61, 62, 63, 64. So I'm going to label 64 at the tick mark. Now remember that when I write the number, I write it below my tick mark. Okay? So now my question comes, is 64 closer to 60? Or is 64 closer to 70? Well, by using these number lines, anything that is less than the halfway number is going to round to the lower number. And anything that is greater than the halfway number, well, that's going to round to the higher number. Now, you might be thinking, what if the number is exactly in the middle? Well, if the number is exactly in the middle, we round that number to the higher number. So, is 64 closer to 60 or 70? Hopefully, you said that 64 is rounded to 60. Awesome job. Let's try another. Round 85 to the nearest 10. Again, I need to think, what two multiples of 10 does 85 fall between? 10, 20, 20 or 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, 80, 90. Well, 85 comes between 80 and 90. What number comes exactly in the middle of 80 and 90? Well, that number is 85. So I want to put a tick mark and then a dot where my number 85 is. But I already have 85 since it's my halfway number. Now the question becomes, does 85 round to 80 or does 85 round to 90? Well, it's exactly in the middle. And in math, we have a rule for that. When the number is exactly in the middle, we round it to the higher number. Usually we say that if there's a number 5 or higher, we round it up. Let's take a look at another one. Round 174 to the nearest 100. Well, this time I need to find hundreds that are my lower and higher number. Is 174 between 100 and 200? 200 and 300? Well, 174 is more than 100, but it's less than 200. What would be the halfway number between 100 and 200. Well, the halfway number is 150. Now, where would 174 be on my number line? Well, I don't need to put every single tick mark for every single missing number. I can go ahead and estimate where it would be. Well, 174 is greater than 150. So I know it has to be on this half. So I'm going to take a guess, and I'm going to say 174 is about there. Now, is 174 closer to 100, or is it closer to 200? Well, hopefully you said it's closer to 200. We just rounded the number 174 to the nearest hundred, and our answer is 200. All right, you're going to have a problem to try in Nearpod. You're going to be rounding a number. Let's see if you can do it. Let's see how you did on your question. Round 76 to the nearest 10. Is 76 closer to 70 or 80? I love using one of these open number lines. So I know that 76 is between 70 and 80. I also know that the halfway number is 75. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76. And that's the number that I had to find. Is 76 closer to 70 or 80? Well, 76 is closer to 80. Hopefully, that was your answer. All right, you're going to be moving into your math journal pages, which is rounding some numbers. And I want to go over the example with you. The example is, what is 83 rounded to the nearest 10? Well, we want to think which two multiples of 10 is 83 come between. It comes between 80 and 90. And the halfway number is 85. And when I found where 83 was and put that tick mark and labeled it, I now can see that 83 is closer to 80. Your job is to complete problems 1, 2, and 3